Gary J. Leno. Just want to say thanks for all you do for the men and women of the armed forces.
Your commitment, your dedication, your effort, you are awesome.
You're greatly appreciated coast to coast in the U.S. and base to base across the globe.
Thank you for all the things you have done for our young men and women who have served their nation. And not only for what you've done for them, but what you've done for their children, what you've done for their families, what you've done to help them rebuild their lives.
More than anything, thank you for everything that you do for our warriors, our men and women all over the world.
He was in the Air Force, I was in the Navy, and we're two great friends together, World War II survivors.
Who would ever imagine growing up watching your movies that you would be the hero to the heroes in this country?
As a proud military brat, that's my daddy, I want to say thank you.
Thanks, Lieutenant Dan.
On behalf of everyone from Friends of Firefighters, we want to thank you for everything that you do, and we are sending you lots of love.
Thank you, Gary!
You are the real deal.
Thank you!
Thanks, Lieutenant Dan.
That's awesome.
That was a recent and much-deserved all-star tribute to Gary Sinise for his decades of support for our country's servicemen and women, veterans, and first responders. I was so privileged and honored to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you.
We are honored to have Gary Sinise here, and we also want to acknowledge the many veterans who served our country in our audience today. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you all for your service. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, you say that 9/11 was a big turning point for you, Gary, right?
On that terrible day, it was something clicked, and I just felt called to get involved. And once I started doing it, it just snowballed into the, into this full-on, full-service mission that led to the creation of my foundation, which I launched in 2011. I was so busy shooting a show and traveling all the time, overseas, around the country, hospital stuff, building houses, that kind of thing, that I just realized, I'm in this game. This is an important thing. I can see the impact that it's having. People are not only being benefited by some of these efforts, but I'm receiving such joy from being able to do something to help our defenders out that it was clear that starting my own organization, the Gary Sinise Foundation, was the next step.
It's so wonderful that you've used your talents, your gifts to, I always say, shine a light and be a positive influence on the world and be a part of something that matters. A lot of people get lost in this business, in the world in general, but to see you being a part of something that matters, and you can tell you're so passionate about what you do.
It gives, it's given my life, but I have, we all have our priorities. I've got kids.
Right.
I've got a wife. I've got grandkids now. I've got my daughter just had her second baby last week.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
Grandpa Dan.
You can call Grandpa Dan, yeah. And of course, that's, I prioritize my family, but beyond that, the service work and the service mission has given my life such meaning and purpose. And, to be able to be successful in our business and to then take that and do some good with it has given that part of my life, the career part of my life, extra meaning, because it's not just that I'm making a living and being on TV and that kind of thing. It's that I'm making a living being on TV and then using that to do some good.
Yeah, you're able to use that as a vehicle to get in the door and be a part of things that matter.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been able to do incredible things. And now the foundation is raising a lot of money. The American people trust what we're doing at the Gary Sinise Foundation. We have multiple donors. It started with one donor, this guy. And then it's over 50,000 donors now that support the Gary Sinise Foundation because they care about our veterans and they want to help.
That's actually one thing I wanted to ask. If you are so enthralled with the servicemen and women, for someone that is not connected to it at all and wants to get involved, what's a good starting place? If you want to help the servicemen and women out there and the veterans, where do you start?
One of the messages that I always give is there are veterans in every community. There are people that might be in need in the military community that have served their country and don't ask for anything, but need assistance. And if every individual in every neighborhood, in every community, in every town and city, in every state took a little bit of responsibility for patting these defenders on the back, reaching out and touching them and asking if there's anything they can do, because we might have, you know, a family who's lost loved ones in that community. We might have a family who's dealing with somebody with very serious post-traumatic stress. We might have family members who have somebody wounded, and it puts a lot of stress on the caregivers and the family. But if every neighbor took some responsibility to just say, I benefit from the freedom that you provide when you sacrifice for that freedom, so I'm going to reach out and touch you and make sure you're okay. If everybody did that around the country, all the things that we hear about with regards to veterans falling through the cracks, that would be greatly reduced, and we wouldn't have to rely so much on worrying about whether the government's going to step in and do it. We can take some responsibility for that. That's what I'm saying.
We can all do our part. We can all serve in some capacity. You know, we don't wear the uniform per se, but we can serve those that serve.
That's right, and then you can also donate to the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Exactly. There you have it, Ben. You also build homes for severely wounded veterans.
One of the, I'll tell you how I got into that. And, you know, I started playing concerts a long time ago, raising money for multiple charities by donating my band and that kind of thing. And I supported, you know, 9/11 first responders and families in New York who lost loved ones there, and helped to raise money to build a memorial there and that kind of thing. So they knew that I was in this game. And when I was shooting CSI New York, in New York, we were shooting some scenes there. Back in 2009, some pals came, some FDNY pals, and came to my set and said there was a quadruple amputee, somebody, the first surviving quadruple amputee to lose both his arms and both his legs, and he's from Staten Island, and they wanted to build him a house. And I knew who they were talking about because I'd met him and his family at Walter Reed.
Wow.
So they asked me if I would do a concert to raise money to build him a house. So I did that in Staten Island, and that's how I got into home building for our wounded. When I started my foundation, we created something called our RISE program, Restoring Independence, Supporting Empowerment. We provide these smart technology homes with all kinds of gadgets in there to make somebody more independent. If you're missing your arms and legs, or you're blind, or severe burns, different problems, traumatic brain injuries, you're going to have some of that independence taken away, and your family members are going to have some of their independence taken away because they're always worried about you.
Right.
But we put all kinds of good things in the house that make life easier for somebody who has been injured in battle. And from the time I started raising money before I had my foundation to now, I think I've been involved in over 70 home building projects around the world.
Awesome.